Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rick Hosford, BNEWS reporters Robert Parrish and Chris Flaherty, Peter Brown with the weather, Matt DiMarzio with sports, and Ian Casciola with the Community Bulletin Board. Thank you for joining us. Burlington High School football varsity football coach Sean McGuire has reportedly resigned from his position. Reports of the resignation began circling midday on Wednesday, but were confirmed by Wicked local sports reporter Doug Hastings this afternoon. BNEWS has reached out to McGuire for both confirmation and comment, but as of the writing of this piece, we have not received a response. Calls to the school department have also not been returned. On September 28th, the Burlington School Department released a statement saying that McGuire had been placed on paid administrative leave pending an administrative investigation into allegations of inappropriate behavior. The department further stated that it had received allegations of verbal misconduct towards players by the coach. That same day, McGuire's attorney, Dale Merrill, said she spoke with the coach and that he didn't know what the allegation was about or who had made it. She added she believed that the complaint was a false allegation and that all will be cleared up in time. In McGuire's absence, interim coach George Balian is leading the team. The Burlington Planning Board approved a special permit that would allow the incoming Burlington Beer Works to add seats on top of the number initially approved last January. As reported on BNews, last year the Board of Selectmen approved the transfer of the Outback Steakhouse liquor license to the Slazar Brothers Brewing Company, Inc., founders and owners of the Beer Works breweries found in the Boston area. Then early this year, the Planning Board approved plans for a brewery and restaurant with 192 indoor seats, 60 patio seats, and an in-house brewery. During last week's meeting, Joe Slazar, company president, asked to modify those plans to reflect a new design he is implementing in all his new restaurants and may apply to the existing 6 Beer Works locations. He said he wanted to remove the brewery and add 50 more seats to the interior of the restaurant. The beer will be brewed in his Lowell brewery and be shipped to Burlington. Members of the Planning Board seemed receptive to the change, but did have some concerns about parking. It was pointed out that Outback had been approved for more seats than what the Beer Works was asking for, but that they had never used the outdoor patio. This means that during the seasons when the patio is in use by the Burlington Beer Works, there will be more seats available than Outback ever had in operation, and that might cause parking trouble in an already crowded corner of the plaza. In the end, the board voted 5-0-0 to approve 30 additional seats on the condition that a parking program that requires employees to park either behind the building or on the far end of the parking lot be adopted. A high-tech company that works in 3D printing is looking to move from Lexington to Burlington. The Planning Board approved a special permit for Desktop Metals that will allow it to locate at 63 3rd Avenue next to Wegmans in the Northwest Park Plan Development District. Desktop Metals specializes in the development of 3D printers which generate products using metal components. The application reads, part of its work is the manufacturing of electrical systems and associated components necessary to create prototype 3D printing machines. The printers then will be sold to private companies and government agencies, including, possibly, NASA. One of the representatives of the company at the meeting, Director of Operations Kevin Lee, used making items for the International Space Station on the actual vessel, using one of their printers as an example of what their products can do. There was some discussion about hazardous materials that will be on site, but members of the Planning Board said they were happy to defer to the Board of Health, which had already signed off on the project. In the end, the special permit was approved 6-0 with member Carol Perner not in attendance. In other business news, one office park has been going through some major renovations, as you know, in an attempt to attract and keep new tenants. BNews Director Rich Hosford went down to the district, formerly New England Executive Park, to get the latest details.
Anyone who has driven down Mall Road in the past couple of years or so, or anyone who dines at Tuscan Kitchen or Tavern on the Square, would have noticed a lot of construction work being done. The district, formerly New England Executive Park, has been undergoing a big renovation and update that includes new restaurants, a hotel, parking garages, and increased office space. I wanted to go down and to see what is new and what is coming.
A lot is new at the district. We've been very busy for the past almost 2 years now. We have finished are nearing completion of construction on the renovation at Building 700, which is the tower, as everyone knows, well in Burlington. So new restaurants have coming up. Island Creek Oyster Bar will open about the first week of November, as will Pressed Cafe, which we're very excited about. TD Bank opened in their new location from the other side of the district in July. And we have 2 more full-service restaurant spaces that we are actively leasing. We have a ton of tours going on. A lot of tenants really, really want to be in this market.
Not all the updates are new building constructions.
Otherwise, we have just finished most of our site and landscaping improvements. So we built walking trails out by the Vine Brook, which are now done and open to the public, and actually connect via Burlington Mall Road to the Leahy Clinic trails behind their hospital. We have a ton of new landscaping, new trees that have been built, some flowering plants, some water features, and now, previously where there was a 3-foot sidewalk on one side of the street, we now have double sidewalks going down the whole District Ave that are very well lit and much more pedestrian friendly.
The goal of the renovations was and is to create a pedestrian-friendly location where people will want to come to visit and spend a good amount of time, a far cry from when it was New England Executive Park.
New England Executive Park 5-10 years ago was really an office campus where we call your father's office park, where someone would drive in, go to work at 9, stay there during the day and leave at 5 and go home. So now what we have is this great amenity for both office tenants that are here and also Burlington residents, community members, other people working in Burlington, where it's really become this destination.
Visitors to the park may notice that the new construction stands out in design. Rather than being modeled after the existing buildings, which are mostly brick, the new buildings have a sleek, modern design. I was told this contrast was intentional.
So the look we were trying to achieve was basically integrating the metal panels and the glass into the retail with the existing older looking brick, if you would, which hopefully integrates into a nice combination between retail and office.
The renovations and added amenities are all part of both giving the park an updated look and also as a way of keeping tenants and therefore businesses in Burlington.
So one of the main objectives of our increasing the amenity base was tenant retention as well. And with the addition of life cycle wellness, we've got a Zagster bike program, the renovation of Rebecca's Cafe, all of these play into tenant retention, which was a big part of our focus when we were looking at increasing the amenity base. And with the hotel, a lot of the companies are really excited about that. There's very few opportunities for hotels, and with a lot of people being able to stay right within the park is a huge asset for us.
At the district, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
In a continued effort to keep the roads safe, the Mass State Police will once again be on the lookout for intoxicated drivers this weekend. According to the State Police, they will hold a sobriety checkpoint somewhere in Middlesex County on Friday, October 14th to Saturday, October 15th. Superintendent of the Mass State Police, Colonel Richard D. McKeon, said the purpose is to further educate the motoring public and strengthen the public's awareness to the need of detecting and removing those motorists who operate under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs from our roadways. Colonel McKeon added that the checkpoint will be operated during varied hours. The selection of vehicles will not be arbitrary, safety will be assured, and any inconveniences to the motorists will be minimized with advance notice to reduce fear and anxiety. Burlington's People Helping People is a nonprofit organization that runs the Burlington Food Pantry, the Covenant for Basic Needs, and the Holiday Wish Tree. Over 130,000 pounds of food will be distributed in 2016 to client families of the Community Food Pantry. The organization helps many people in need in town enjoy a holiday dinner or provide presents for their children during the holidays. All of that takes money, and so once again they are holding their annual $1,000 gift card raffle to the Capitol Grill. Raffle tickets are just $20 each and can be purchased from Janet Sullivan Fitzgerald at the Sullivan Funeral Home or through Dan DiTucci at Spencer Cleaners at 271 Cambridge Street and 240 Middlesex Turnpike. Tickets can also be purchased at Old Town Liquors, 242 Cambridge Street, and at a whole bunch of flowers, flower market, 326 Cambridge Street. The tickets will be sold throughout October, November, and December. The drawing will be held the first week of January. It's October, and that means that the pumpkin patch at St. Mark's is back in full swing. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty took a stroll through the pumpkin patch. He files this report.
If there's one thing that October is all about, it's pumpkins. They're in our coffee, our food, and in our Halloween celebrations. One place in Burlington to find plenty of pumpkins is the pumpkin patch at St. Mark's Church.
We started it about 4 years ago. This is our 4th year. And we wanted to do some kind of fundraising for the town of Burlington. And the pantry is here. It's not our pantry, it's the Burlington pantry. But we thought they need the funds. So if we could do something to help them out, this would be a good idea. The town of Burlington's just been fabulous. They've been there for us. They come and they sit at the patch here, and they sell pumpkins, and we don't even have to ask some of these people. They volunteer before the patch is even formed for the next year. And we really, really appreciate that, because we could not do this without them.
Much like a seasonal hotspot, folks from all corners of Burlington and beyond can be found at the pumpkin patch.
Businesses and service organizations that would like to come and help out the patch, it's their day. They can bring flyers, they can publicize their particular cause or their business, so it helps them to get funding.
And where do all these pumpkins come from? All the way from New Mexico, taking a 3-day journey by road up to Burlington.
They're grown on a Navajo reservation, and this reservation and this area of New Mexico, there's not a lot of traffic there. There's not a lot of jobs available for people. So not only are we helping the pantry here, we're helping people in New Mexico, Americans in New Mexico that are without jobs. Right. So it's a twofold thing.
The St. Mark's Pumpkin Patch is open every day in October, from 12 to 6 on the weekdays and 11 to 6 on the weekends, and all proceeds go to benefit people helping people. The Pumpkin Patch is in need of volunteers the 29th through the 31st. If you would like to help, call St. Mark's at 781-272-1586. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNews Weekly.
Once again, students at the high school are bringing technical notoriety to Burlington. A group of computer-savvy Burlington students, seniors, won a top mark at a New England regional hacking competition this past weekend. According to a post on BHS Principal Mark Sullivan's blog, the 5-member team won Most Entrepreneurial during the Hack Nest competition held at the Microsoft Sales and Technology Center here in Burlington on Saturday. The prize garnered the students a $500 prize for each of them. The team was made up of Adil Islam, Mohammed Sheikh, Brian Puckmel, Logan Dioria, and Suleiman Benhida, all seniors. Their winning entry was a ping-pong racquetball game played against the computer. Hackness is a competition where teams work together to build software using many tools, APIs, and products. At the end of the event, judges provide feedback and prizes to the best hackers. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for a look at this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Ian Casciola to see what's happening in and around Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the upcoming period. And I just want to draw your attention to as we start off Friday. Look at this. We're going to see temperatures actually again below average. So that's something we haven't seen much of this fall, that's for certain. But look at going into Saturday morning. It is going to be a very chilly morning going into Saturday. We're expecting lows to bottom out in the upper 20s. So be ready Saturday morning with your coats if you're going out early, that's for sure. As you can see, as we get towards the end of the period, our temperatures are continuing to cool. Our average highs will be in the 50s. And, of course, the length of day, that's definitely noticeable right now. The days are getting very, very short, down to about 11 hours in length now. But as we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the upcoming period. And I know this weather map is starting to look the same every week, and really, we don't have too much going on in terms of a change in a weather pattern. We're going to see a front pass by us on Friday afternoon, and that's what's going to usher in those really cold morning temperatures as we go into Saturday. But as soon as we get into Saturday going to Sunday, look at this, what's behind the front. Just wall-to-wall sunshine again, so really not much in the way of rain. As you look out towards the west, towards Michigan and everything, this will be a front that'll be starting to approach us maybe towards the end of the period, and hopefully that might bring us a few showers, but really nothing too heavy. So we were thankful that we got a little bit of rain out of what was left from Matthew last Sunday. That helped us out a little bit, but we really do need some more rain, that's for sure. And as we move ahead, I'm going to show you a couple of slides about the upcoming weather for the period coming up. And look at this. Once again, this is something that we've seen all too often since about May. Look at this. The Climate Prediction Center is expecting us to have much above average temperatures in the eastern part of the U.S., especially up getting into our neck of the woods and up into the Burlington area. So nothing new there. The next slide, though, is a little bit different. They're actually predicting that for the next 7 to 10 days or so, we might see actually above average precipitation, which is something we desperately need to try and alleviate the drought conditions that we've been having. So we're going to hold out hope for this, and hopefully we'll get some decent rain as we get beyond this period and into the next week. But as we go ahead, I'm going to show you some of the beautiful conditions. Look at this. If you have this weekend off and you're going on vacation up north or anything, look at this. Absolutely beautiful weather. It's going to be pretty cool down here in the Burlington area. Temperatures only in the upper 50s on Saturday and the low 60s on Sunday. And some pretty chilly mornings. So getting a little bit moderated by Sunday morning. Monday, again, we're going to see a front approaching the area with a chance of some showers. And look at this, warming back up by Tuesday, up getting into the upper 60s to near 70. And again, we have maybe a chance of a few light showers on Wednesday. If we get to the ends of the period, look at this. Temperature's going to be about 10 degrees above average. So temperatures getting into the third week in October are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees above average. Temperatures in the mid and upper 60s. So the beautiful fall weather and Indian summer is going to be continuing. So I hope you all get out there and enjoy these beautiful fall days that we're having, and have a great week.
Hello and welcome to your community calendar. Have you received your flu shot? On Saturday, October 22nd from 12 to 3 p.m., the Memorial Elementary School will be giving out free flu vaccines for the Burlington community. Get a free flu shot before the flu season begins this year. All the vaccines are free, but if you're covered by insurance, the Board of Health requests that you bring your insurance card. Everyone is welcome to get a vaccine. For more info, call 781-270-1955. Parents, are your kids ready for the Halloween spirit? On Saturday, October 22nd from 3:30 to 6 p.m., the Burlington Recreation Department, the Rotary Club of Burlington, and the Burlington High School Interact Club will once again be having their annual Spooktacular at Simmons Park. The Spooktacular will feature a haunted house, hay mazes, food, games, and much more. Everyone is welcomed. The event is free. Children are invited to wear their Halloween costumes. For more info, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1695. Does anyone in your family read books? From Friday, October 28th through Sunday, October 30th, the Burlington Public Library will be hosting their annual book sale. All books, CDs, audio, DVDs, and puzzles are $1. Children's paperbacks are 2 for $1. If you are a member of the library, you will have an exclusive offer. Buy 2 books and get the 3rd book free. Everyone is welcome. The event is free. Don't forget to bring money. Dates and times are as follows. On Friday, October 28th, the sale will be from 10:15 to 5:30 p.m. On Saturday, October 29th, 10:15 to 4:30 p.m. And Sunday, October 30th, 1:15 to 3:30 p.m. Children who wear their Halloween costumes will receive a free book. For more info, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. This has been your community calendar. I'm Ian Casciola. Back to you in the studio.
We are well into the fall sports season, and the Red Devil teams are fighting hard. We go now to Matt DiMarzio for this week's sports report.
Hi everyone, this is Matt DiMarzio here with your BNEWS sports report. Last Friday, the Burlington Red Devils faced off against Watertown, losing 31-28 in the final minutes of the game. Here's Joe Viscioni with the highlights.
Last Friday, it was a battle of the Reds as the Burlington Red Devils hosted the Watertown Red Raiders in what was to be a close game. Watertown scored first with a 28-yard field goal by kicker Connor Kennelly to give them a 3-0 lead over the Burlington Red Devils. Burlington responded yet again with a handoff roughly at the Watertown's 40-yard line for a 60-yard carry into the end zone by who else? Zachary Sear, which gave the Red Devils 6 points on the board. But unfortunately, the next kick was missed by Fernando Lamine. Watertown did come back, though, as they had a short run into the end zone, bringing themselves to the score 10-6. Yet again, the Red Raiders would find the end zone with a touchdown run by who else than Dion Smith, the quarterback, who made it past Burlington's exceptional defense without even getting touched. The extra point kick was good to make the score 17-6. Without pressure and time, Burlington's quarterback Dylan Bonfilio took matters into his own hands. Not seeing any open receivers and an encroaching Red Raiders defense, he ran from the 30-yard line past the outstretched arms and found the end zone while being taken down by his ankles. Bonfilio did it again, once again running the ball into the end zone for a 2-point conversion, bringing the score to just within 3. But Watertown would not be silenced as they responded with a long throw at the last seconds by Dion Smith to wide receiver John Court, who ran it the rest of the way for another 6 points, and the kicker Connor Kennelly was able to put them up by another point on the board, leaving the score 24-14 at halftime. In the third quarter, Burlington scored first and would not be silenced as well, as Bonfilio found Zachary Sear once again for a touchdown pass in the end zone. But yet again, Lamine could not find his rhythm as he missed an extra point. Back at it again, Bonfilio and Sear, the amazing duo, would connect once again in the fourth quarter, giving Burlington the lead for the first time with a tight throw into heavy coverage that Sear was able to bring down after a quick juggle. Since 2 extra points did not go the Red Devils' way, Bonfilio once took matters into his own hands, scrambling past defenders and taking it in for a 2-point conversion, giving Burlington the lead 28-24. But Watertown, not to be frightened, came back with Smith firing a line drive pass to Court, who was taken down in the end zone. A successful extra point put the Red Raiders 31-28 lead over the Burlington Red Devils at Varsity Field. The Red Devils tried to recover the lead with a Hail Mary pass by Bonfilio, but it was blocked as the Watertown Red Raiders came in with the very close game victory, 31-28 over the Burlington Red Devils, as the Burlington Red Devils will seek redemption in their next game against Wakefield in Wakefield at 7 o'clock on Friday.
Thanks, Joe, for that report. On Thursday, the Burlington High Athletic Hall of Fame inducted its 13th class, and several former Red Devils standouts were honored, including softball stars Kristen Mahoney and Melissa Hannafin, football player Chris McNeil, the 2005 girls tennis team, hockey player Bobby J. from the class of 1983, basketball player Chris Warob, and standouts from an earlier time including Cliff Skelton and Russ Peterson. Former athletic director Ed Gillis was also recognized. BNews reporter Robert Paris was at the event and has this report.
Multiple generations of Burlington athletes gathered this week to honor a few among their ranks whose names will be marked for history. On Thursday, October 13th, Cafe Escadrille held the BHS Hall of Fame night in the banquet hall. Recipients and their families were invited to watch their loved ones become inducted. Apart from being inducted, Cafe Escadrille held a cocktail hour where inductees could meet Hall of Famers from previous years. One of the oldest recipients who became inducted that night was Russell Peterson, class of 1954.
I always loved baseball. I always followed baseball when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was always a Red Sox fan, and I always watched the Red Sox. And in my book, my yearbook, my ambition was to be the Red Sox manager. I ended up with the Red Sox Little League team when I retired my last year. But I was happy with that because there was a bunch of. I'd rather teach the kids and give them the fundamentals at that age than I would an older group. But the older group I did have were on the Legion were very good ball players. We had a great team that year, and we we almost won the championship in the Legion in the States. We come in fourth, and I'm very proud of the boys I did coach.
Burlington alum Doug Hastings, a graduate of BHS class of 1988, reflected back on why he wanted to become a sports writer.
Well, when I was a kid, The Odd Couple was a very popular show, and one of the characters on The Odd Couple was a sports writer, and he got to dress like a slob and watch sports all day, and I thought that was the best thing I could ever imagine doing for a living. And so that was what motivated me to get started on it, and luckily I was not very good at sports, so that I didn't make any teams as a freshman, and that's when my writing career started.
BHS class of 2003 recipient Melissa Hannafin Goche remembers her sport memories and why the sports she participated in made her a better athlete.
One of my favorite memories, honestly, it's just playing sports in total. Just each season, football, cheering, basketball, and softball. I just had the best group of friends on each and every team, and just the memories that I have with them are memories that I'll have forever. Honestly, it had me take accountability in all my schoolwork. You couldn't participate in athletics unless you were doing what you're supposed to be doing in schoolwork, with your schoolwork. So it just kind of had me take accountability. It was, I didn't want to call in, if I was sick, I would never want to even call out sick to school because I didn't want to have to miss a game. So I would come to school no matter what.
From Cafe Escadrille, I'm Robert Paris for BNews Weekly.
Thanks, Rob, for that report. Meanwhile, the current Red Devils teams produced some memorable results. The Red Devil golf team won the Middlesex League's Freedom Division title on Tuesday with a win against Wakefield. Burlington's deep roster continues to dominate year after year. The soccer teams are doing well and pushing for spots in the state tournament. In action last week, both the Red Devil boys and girls defeated Lexington, the boys by a 2-1 score, and the girls in a 1-0 thriller that saw Burlington score with only 4 minutes to go. Burlington's volleyball team is enjoying a terrific year and is well on its way to earning a spot in the state tournament. Friday night, the Red Devils will play in Lexington in a fundraising game hosting the Lexington Minutemen with a start time of 6 o'clock. Other upcoming BHS action include a football game Friday night at 7 o'clock in Wakefield. The field hockey team has an important game on Monday afternoon at the high school against Melrose. Off the field, Sean McGuire has officially resigned his position as the head football coach at Burlington. McGuire coached the Red Devils in some capacity for more than 30 years, but resigned earlier this week on the heels of a suspension handed down by school officials. That's it for this week's report. I'm Matt DiMarzio. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNews Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNews Director Rich Hosford, BNews reporters Chris Flaherty, Robert Parrish, Peter Brown with the weather, Ian Casciola with Community Bulletin Board, and Matt DiMarzio with sports. Thank you for joining us.